For NaNoWriMo, you're supposed to write every single day, about a little more than 1,600 words. Imagine writing every day. Here we go, tip number 1. Write 100 words a day. My goal is to write every single day, whether it's 100 words or for 10 minutes or for whatever length of time. I know we're all busy, usually, and just my goal in general is to write every day. Couldn't be me. No, this year, I'm off to a late start, but it's okay because what I'm currently working on right now is about 4 different novellas or novelettes. I always forget the exact word count or the word measurement, but basically I'm working on some short stories. And because I'm not working on a full-length novel, I'm actually not doing the entire month. I'm going to do half a nano. So a nah, if you will. So if somebody asks you, are you doing NaNoWriMo? I'll just go, nah. And then they go, no, you're not doing it. I go, no, I'm not, like half. I'm doing half a nano. Is that conversation would never take place because, for one, that would require 2 writers meeting in person randomly in public, and just the chances of that happening, not very likely. But anyways, I'm doing a half a nano this year. Typically, during the month of November, during NaNoWriMo, you write 30,000 words or 50,000, or you write tens of thousands of words. And my goal is 15,000. Now, over the last couple months, I've actually been working on a short story. It's working on the second draft right now. So I don't really want to work on that because NaNoWriMo is perfect for writing first drafts. It's all about just word sprints, getting it out there. It's all about just shoving the clay on the table so you can mold it later. So I'm going to check in with everybody today. We're about a little more than halfway through November, but at the time that I'm filming this, I have about 14 days left. So I'm going to check in with you guys today and then at the end of the month. So right now what I'm going to do is start a completely new project, a novelette, and this video would be really short if that's where I stopped. If I just said, hey, I'm going to work on something, check back in 2 weeks, boom, but I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do instead, I'm going to take this camera, you guys, and I'm going to screen cap, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to do just like a super quick outline just to get started so you have an idea of where this could go. And I'm not going to show you guys the first draft that I come up with in the next 2 weeks because first drafts are terrible and not reflective, I don't think, of who I am as a writer, because like I said, it's just throwing clay on the table. So instead of what I'm going to do is show you how I outline, just a super quick one, and then in 2 weeks I will write the first draft and then show you how that outline has changed and how I'm going to remold it and start turning it into a more legitimate story. So let's just pull this over here. Okay, so now I'm just going to type up a quick outline and then we will get started. Let's see. I want to do 8 chapters, so let's see. I'll start off something like this. This will make sense soon, maybe. Okay, the 4 novelettes that I'm working on right now all are going to have something to do with a monster or some kind of monstrous antagonist. It'll be a horror story. And all 4 of these stories take place in a fictional town that I've created basically in Northern California. And that's where I'm currently located, so I feel like that goes with the write what you know philosophy, right? So anyways, we're going to create some kind of villain, some kind of antagonist. So what I've been thinking for this story is kind of like a Pied Piper kind of character. And I'm thinking like somebody who plays a violin. Like somebody who plays a violin and lures people into the forest where bad, terrible things happen to them, because this will be a bloody and violent story. So just imagine, let's see, we're going to say like a Lindsay Sterling Pied Piper character. Piper type character. That's going to be the antagonist. And the protagonist in here, protagonist. For this one, it's just going to be a guy by himself. Let's see. We'll call him Fred. That's not going to be his name, but that's just very generic placeholder style name. So we need a couple things here. Number one, what is their motivation? Why is he here in the forest? Or even near it? Number two, what is his major character flaw? Personally, I'm a big fan of characters with flaws. I think as most people are. I need them to be a little messed up. Setting is a fictional town in Northern California. Northern California. More specifically, it's going to be in a forest. Specifically, I feel like I want there to be a creepy mansion in the forest. So, let's see. Okay. All right. I want there to be 8 chapters. I feel like that's a good starting point for the size of story that I'm trying to write. Okay, chapter 1, we are going to not be from Fred's perspective. We're actually going to see, let's see, we're actually going to see the Pied Piper character in action. Let's see how bad they are. So we'll introduce that character, show them luring people into the forest, and maybe, let's see. It's definitely going to be a horror with supernatural elements. And I'm thinking it's something like one of those fantasy tropes, actually, that I'm thinking it's one of those fantasy tropes where it's like you go to this place and usually the music has you in a trance and you stay there forever. Or you stay there until you die, or eternity, or you just trapped there. Like Tom Bombadil's house in Lord of the Rings, or like many other places in many other fantasy worlds. But basically, the music will put people in a trance, and maybe they'll dance to the music in the forest until they die. Or maybe it turns them into zombies and they start eating each other. Something bad and messed up is going to happen. Not sure what that is yet, but that's where we'll just kind of play around with things. Second chapter, we're going to introduce Fred. And show off some good qualities. But finish the chapter revealing a major flaw. Major flaw? I'm just going to put a question mark at the end of that, because maybe we won't reveal his flaw until further down the line. Maybe in a chapter later. All right. So this is basically where I'm going to start. And I'm going to need to figure out Fred as a character. I'm going to try to come up with a reason why he's here. What is his flaw? What are some good qualities? And I fill that out, because if he's just terrible at everything and mean and bad, and I mean, we're just going to root for him to die. And then, yeah, there's not much tension there. Like, we're not going to care. Like, even really messed up characters have good qualities if it's a good character. Like, if it's a good, strong, well-made character. Take even Jorg Ankrath has a passion for books and philosophy and intelligence, and he's mostly just a broken human being. Like, a lot of bad things have happened to him, so he's extremely violent. But he does have some redeeming qualities. Just this, like, he's an effective leader. He's a terrible person, but you could see why people are following him to some degree. And then some other things I'm going to have to play around with is also, what is this character's some other things I'm going to have to play around with is the motivation, of course, for the antagonist. What is their backstory? Even if it doesn't come out on the page, I still need to know it, just to write a well-rounded villain. Let's see. And bad qualities. And good qualities. And so for this part, so these characters are going to clash. So we have our antagonist and our protagonist and the setting. And basically, I wanted some kind of Pied Piper story that's going to be bloody and violent and dark, right? I want it to have beautiful music that you won't hear because it's a book. But that's the picture in my head that I'm going to go after. So with this very minimal outline, and I mean, there'll probably be, an hour or so of me staring at the computer, playing. Normally, I have music playing in the background, but because I'm going to put this up as a YouTube video, I don't want it to get hit with a copyright strike or something like that. So we're going to sit in silence for now. So I don't have anything playing right now. But for the next part, like I said, I would just be sitting here filling out these questions, basically. And that would take a long time, and probably much longer than anybody wants to watch on video. So this is just the little bare bones, bare minimum. Here's where we're going to go. And I'm going to try to free write. I'm going to free write 8 chapters worth, roughly 15,000 words, and over the next 2 weeks. And then I'm going to take a look at what I have and make an outline based off of that, now that we know the characters a little more, now that we know the setting and how the characters interact with it, how they interact with each other. Once I know all these things, then I'm going to redo the outline and then get ready for a much more polished second draft. So that's how I'm starting NaNoWriMo 2020, doing half a nano, and I'll check back in 2 weeks. I mean, don't worry, like, I'm going to put up other content between now and 2 weeks from now, for sure. But like I said, when this is over, I'll show you guys my results and see, because this is such a bare bones, like a couple ideas, right? These are just like a few ideas that I want to kind of be contained by with my free writing. I'm just going to answer some of these questions and then take off from there. In the comments down below, feel free to let me know how you're doing this NaNoWriMo 2020. Are you doing great? Are you crushing it every day? Are you hanging in there? Are you not doing anything at all? Let me know. Let's talk about it. Until next time, later. Just shoving the clay on the paper. Just